most of the things I have today are just kind of informational in nature. I'll just let you be aware of some things, and if you have any questions to tie into these items, please feel free to ask. If I can't get it for you today, I'll be happy to get you the information later on. Starting off with some events getting ready to happen in the near future. On March 6th, which I guess is this upcoming weekend, the Mother and Son event is going on at North Cross Bowling Alley. It's broken into two sections. From 1:30 to 3:30 is our K2, and then from 3:30 to 5 is our 3-5, so that should be fun. And also Dad's Day for 3rd grade is coming up on the 11th. And what we've done this year, which is a little different, is we've somewhat changed it every single year. We have broken it up this year into grade levels, where we spread them out throughout the year. So we have dads coming in at different times throughout the year. One, it's been able to allow us to absorb more dads into the building versus having it. We used to do it, we did it alphabetically one year. We've done it K2, 3, 5 one year. But this seems to be the best way of attacking it. So 3rd grade will be doing some different activities for their parents on those given days. And again, I think I mentioned this when we talked about 4th grade. These events are open up to really anyone. If a dad's not available, moms are welcome to come. Grandfathers have come. Grandmothers have come. Male role models. There's people that have sent in other male role models to come. So I think it's a good event for the kids. And they get the opportunity to interact with their parents in the classroom. So I think that's always positive. In regard to testing information right now, a random group of our 4th graders just finished taking the NAEP test. And you probably just read about it in the Charlotte Observer. I think it was last week. They were talking about NAEP and science and how CMS students did. It's a national test, so they do a random selection of students, so we don't have any control over it. Another group comes in and actually administers the test. We just have to pull the kids together. We don't get school data, so they will not give us JV Washam how we did, but the kids, a group of the kids took reading, a group of the kids take math. And it took, I think, probably about 2 hours to take the test. That data is then accumulated with all other CMS students that take the test, and then they will compare CMS to other districts around the country. If you saw the article in the paper either last week or 2 weeks ago, 4th graders in Charlotte were the highest scoring group in the nation in regard to the districts that were checked. 8th grade wasn't. I think they were the 5th highest. But our 4th graders did really well in science. Our kids weren't a part of that test. Ours are taking reading and math. But that was just yesterday. We also have formative started, and that's in all grade levels. And that is new this year. We're still not sure how much good data we're getting out of that because it's new. But starting in kindergarten, our students are actually taking one-on-one tests with the teacher or the assistant. 1st grade, they're taking one-on-one tests. 2nd grade, it's whole class, and then it kind of works its way up. They take those in reading and math in all grade levels. In 5th grade, they also take it in science. So that's going on as well. There's no grades for that. It's totally for teacher use to check mastery of skills. And so that's what that is. And they're starting right now, actually. The kids in some grade levels will be taking, 3rd, 4th, and 5th will be taking it, and K2 already started. They have a window that they have to complete it by. And it takes a great deal of time in the lower grades because you're administering about a 20 to 25 minute test in reading, and then another 20 to 25 minute test in math one-on-one. So it's taking a lot of our teachers' time in K1 to deal with that.
Teachers or assistants giving this test?
It's really mainly teachers, but it's a combination of both. It just really depends on who you have available at any given time. But it is the biggest concern I've gotten from teachers is the time to actually administer it, and is it worth the time? And 1 year in, we're still not sure. It's a new system, so that's kind of a work in progress. But they are in the midst of taking that. Questions about that? Because that is new this year. Okay. All right. And that's a CMS. This is CMS that's doing this. It's not done across the state. In regard to some other things going on budget-wise, there's really nothing new since the last time we've spoken. Actually, it's been kind of quiet in the papers. The next big wave of information that will come out regarding the budget will be on March 8th. That's the next board meeting. that is when it looks like they are going to start to talk about the policies and processes for a reduction in force. And what that means, they'll look at how they will decide who will go when the time comes. They'll look at how they're going to incorporate teacher performance or assistant performance, how they're going to incorporate seniority if they decide to do that, so on and so forth. But there will be a series of steps that the board will have to vote on as part of that process. So March 8th, we will have a more clear idea of how some of those processes will work. It's not impacting anything for this year, but we will have a general idea beginning at that point of what it'll look like. At this time, we've heard really nothing more from the state since the last time that I've talked to you. At that time, Bev Perdue came out and said she wasn't going to cut teachers or assistants. The reality is, that's kind of double talk. And what she's basically saying is, if you dig a little deeper into that, is she's going to push some of those responsibilities onto the local government, meaning that the decision will have to be made locally. So it's kind of almost pushing the buck in some cases. So there's some fun, well, this is now going to be a local decision, and they're going to have to figure out a way to circumvent this gap that exists. So even though she's making these statements, she is not the only one that controls the budget. The General Assembly will have to sit and talk about it as well, and they'll have to come to some kind of agreement on that. So that is not really supposed to come to fruition until June. So that's when the state usually has an idea of what they're going to do, and local government hopefully will be sooner than that. But this is a process that will be going on for a while. Even though there's been some glimmers in the paper saying that we may be in slightly better shape as a state than they thought, it's really not that much. I mean, it's better, but it's not good. Still $3 billion in the red as a state. So that's something that you'll get some more information on soon. Other topics that I've jotted down, school quality review. The last time that we met, they were actually here. I think it was day one of the activity. During that time, like I mentioned, they met with parents, they met with students, they met with teachers, they visited classrooms. I do wish they would have visited more classrooms. When I've done them in the past, there was 3 of us. We went into one together to kind of calibrate where we were at and what we saw, and then we all started to go individually into classrooms, and then we would come back and kind of talk about what we saw. That way you'd have a bigger spread of classrooms when you visited. This group didn't do that. They went as a threesome in every room they went to. So they got to visit less places. The good thing is, on the second day I actually went with them, so I got to see the same things they saw, which was good. So you can kind of give extra information, you can kind of talk about what they saw, what you saw. So that was the first time I had the opportunity to do that. So I did like that portion of it, but I do think they would have been a better cut of classrooms if they would have went out and visited individual classrooms on their own. I put the feedback in the last 2 Hawkeyes. In the first Hawkeye, I put in the things that they thought we were doing good, and the things they wanted us to continue to improve on. Nothing shocking when I look at the information that was talked about. We'll get a full report, I think it's in about 60 days, that I will put on the website, and you'll be able to see everything that ties into that. But all they really give us at that point is they meet with our grade chairs and me and the assistant principal, and they kind of just verbally tell us this stuff, and I jot it down. So we'll have something more formal soon. That process is part of the budget cut. Right now CMS pays for that. It's an objective view for a group to come in outside of the system, but it's in one of the tiers. If you've gone on to the budget and looked at it, you'll see something called school quality review, and it's in one of the tiers. So that will be something that will be going if our budget has to go down that road. But I think it's a good process. I think it makes you think. I think it makes teachers think. And it gives you another view of where your school's at. Because sometimes when you're in the situation, you don't see everything that other people see. It also gives a good opportunity for parents. The way I designed it is that I basically asked for volunteers from out our school, and then I just took people from kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade. Tried to make sure it was racially diverse, tried to make sure it was gender diverse, and then I just let them go at it. You can easily set the table. I've been in them when you do. I can pick 7 people that I want to be in that room, and basically say great things about what's going on at the school. I've seen it. I can pick the best kids in the school and have them sit there and tell you what's going on as well. We tried not to do that. I didn't pick the teachers. I asked for volunteers. I don't ever find out who the teachers are. I never find out exactly what the parents say. I do want to know more information about what those groups said. Hopefully it'll be in the report. But as of right now, it's a totally anonymous event. So hopefully you get good feedback when you do that. And I think it's good when you get a cross-section of grade levels where you get to see that in one grade level a parent feels very good about something, and then another grade level they may have had a bad experience, so it kind of balances each other out, which is, I think, a good thing. But that's over and done with, so that was pretty time-consuming a few weeks ago. Other neat things getting ready to happen. We're having an ESL family night this Thursday for our ESL families. It's the first one up in this part of the county, and it's not just for our school, it's really for the entire Northeast learning community. So it's Davidson, Huntersville, Cornelius, and they're basically bringing some services into our school on Thursday, and they're also going to do a parent university about the EOGs, the end of grade tests, in Spanish. So that'll be happening here, where there'll be some services, so people will be able to come in on their own. There'll be some snacks and refreshments. We focus that completely on our ESL population, so we do not send that information home to all of our families, but it is for the entire area up in the northern part of the county, so that'll be happening Thursday, and we're excited about that.